Welcome, everybody. My name is Rebecca, and I'm really delighted to be here today to share with you some of the understandings, the teachings, the transformations that can happen through the practice of Kundalini Shakti Yoga. I've been studying and practicing and sharing this technology. It's truly like a sacred science. It's a technology that deals both with the physical and the metaphysical aspects of what it means to be a human being. I've been practicing for almost 24 years, and honestly, it's been my go-to. That has been one of the most consistent, effective, efficient practices that I know to allow me to tap into that inner wisdom, that joy, that creativity that we are born with. So when you hear the term Kundalini, it's the same thing as the term Shakti. It's two words for the same energy. And what is that energy? That energy is the energy of birth. It's the energy of creation. It's the energy that we tap into when we're creating art, music, thinking creatively, writing creatively, cooking a beautiful meal, making babies, delivering babies. It's the energy of manifestation. It's the energy that we all are born with. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's the Adi Shakti. It's the primal feminine energy. It's the energy that makes us feel inspired, that allows us to feel excited about being alive. It's the energy that we tap into to feel this vast amount of limitless potentials that we have inside of us. It's a dormant energy that we're born with until you start to understand how to connect to that inner wisdom, that inner knowingness, that joy, that beauty that is actually really our birthright. It's an energy that we have whether you're a man or a woman, and it's always there, it's always available. But again, the key is, how do you get in there? How do you access that which you're born to? And so through certain movements, physical movements, using the technology, the power of sound, of mantra, pranayama, breathing techniques, intention, meditations, we can access, everybody can access the moving of this energy. It isn't just for the lucky few. We can all access this energy through our intention, through our dedication, through doing our sadhana. You know, yoga is a word which means, as I'm sure you know, union or connection. What is it the union of? What is it the connection of? We're referring to the connection of our physical bodies to our feelings, to our thoughts, to our beliefs, to our conditioning, to the energy that's moving in our body. There is no separation. And so when you tap into that understanding that nothing is separate, then you're actually really practicing yoga. There's no separation in yoga. It's not just something you do on these little magic carpets or these yoga mats. Yoga is a way of being, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of living your life on or off the mats. So we come to yoga class, we call it yoga practice. And what are we practicing for? We're practicing for life. And so you come to your class to upgrade, to rewire, to refire, to re-educate, to become more exquisite in the moving of the energy inside of your body. Because when the energy is moving, you feel more alive, you feel more inspired, you feel more empowered, you feel more connected to the real essence of who you are. In Kundalini Shakti Yoga, we call that your Sat Nam. Sat means truth, and Nam means your name, the essence of who you are. And when you connect to that, you're in touch with your inner wisdom, you're in touch with your intuition. What really happens is when you start to do these practices is that you are raising the frequency of your energy. And what does that mean? Fundamentally, that means when we remember that everything is energy, like our physical bodies are energy, they're just a denser form of energy. They're 3D, they take up space. And so when you want to change your body physically, when you want to become stronger or more flexible, when you want to lose weight, gain weight, what does it take? It takes time. It takes some time. I've tried to do things quickly in 3D. It doesn't work. You need to have time. But when you're talking about the energetics of your humanity, you're actually dealing with a different set of rules. You're kind of Not kind of, you are. You're beyond time. You're beyond space. It's when we step into that quantum field where it's a different set of rules. That's why sometimes you're like, whoa, I just changed my mind, or I just changed the way that I'm feeling. Or you do an energetic practice and you can feel quite differently quickly because, again, it's beyond time. And it's exquisite to understand that we are equally that to the physical as well. And when you step into that quantum field, when you step into that matrix, to that playing field of the energetics, you're playing with a different set of rules. And so when we talk about doing energetic practices, it doesn't mean that you're getting all overly fired up and that things are moving too quickly. No. When your energy, when the Kundalini, when the Shakti, when the prana, when the life force is moving through you, that is exactly the moment when you can sit most deeply, most comfortably, most beautifully still and feel the deep essence of who you really are. And so in yoga, that's why we have what's called a sadhana. It's not like you do it once and off you go for the rest of your life. No. Sadhana means a daily practice. It's a daily dedication to yourself because you're worth it and it's important. And it's important to remember that your energy, it's important to remember that energy has no boundaries. It isn't born. It doesn't die. It's limitless. Everybody makes a difference. And when we talk about energy, what is energy doing all the time? Energy is always changing, shifting, morphing, transforming. So it's never ever a question of whether you're going to change or not. I have found that the real question is, what are you going to change into? Who are you going to become? And that's where we need to participate, to co-create, to understand that it's a participatory universe, that each one of us make a difference, and that the quality of our responses are really reflecting who we are. It isn't even so much what happens, but it's more like, what do you do with what happens? How do you respond to what happens? And how you respond is showing who you are. That's that mirror. There you are. No matter where you go, there you are. So what's the quality of your responses to yourself, to other people, to how you spend your time? What do you create? What do you offer to this big collective consciousness? So please remember that you make such a huge difference because we're in this together. And I have really found that through the practice of Kundalini, Shakti, Yoga, it has really brought me to my heart center, to Anahata Chakra. And that's where the great transformation takes place. I feel like that's where we go from thinking about me, to we, to understand that we're in this together. It's about community. It's about the collective. It's about understanding that we're all part of a bigger whole and that we each make a huge difference. So when we practice Kundalini Yoga, Shakti Yoga, it's tapping into our, I'd like to view it as our human potential. It's our creative human potential. And we have a vast amount of creative potential to tap into. It's the energy that we stir like this big pot of something beautiful like cacao, right? You want to stir it, you want to scrape the edges, you want to keep it moving, you want to get it flowing so you feel ignited, you feel more alive, you feel more peaceful. And when you do these energetic practices, what happens, and I've seen it happen over and over and over again for decades now, to every single person who does it, is you're raising your frequency of energy. And when your frequency is vibrating at a higher pace, what you experience are the qualities of joy, unconditional love, compassion, creativity, intuition. You tap into that inner wisdom that you're born with. And when you're in that place of vibrating at a higher frequency, you make better choices. You're moving from a place of wisdom and unconditional love instead of judgment and fear and anger. And so when we can raise the frequency of our energy and from that place decide what to do next, the outcome is much better. Being human, excuse me, being human can be kind of messy sometimes, yeah? It can be confusing, it can be challenging. It happens to all of us. I don't care how often you sit on these mats, things are going to happen that you don't want, that you don't like, that you didn't see coming. So it's not being able to control everything, but it's about cultivating and learning and creating a really good set of responses to what does happen, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. What's next? What do you do with it? Sometimes we're all going to experience being down and out or frustrated or depressed or angry, and that's a much denser, heavier energy. And from that place, it's very difficult to figure out the right thing to do because we're down, it's heavy, it's slow, it's a thick energy. So the key is when that happens, and it happens to all of us, lighten up. And how do you lighten up? You do a practice, you chant, you do breath work, you do something that moves the energy inside of your body so that you can reconnect with that inner wisdom, with that inner knowingness that you're born with. It's always there. You don't have to worry that you don't have it. We all have it. It would be like if it were a cloudy day or it's nighttime and you don't see the sun. It doesn't mean the sun has disappeared. No, it just means it's cloudy. And we're like that sometimes, yeah? We can get cloudy. We can get downright stormy. So how do you clear the path? How do you get back in there? Do your sadhana. Do your practice. Chant, breathe, shake, dance. It works. It works every single time. We can all access it. We can all do it. It's here for everybody, not just the chosen few. So I really feel like it's so important. Yet, yes, we have these physical bodies, and in Kundalini Shakti Yoga, we definitely address the physical as well, because our physical bodies, they're the vessel that holds this energy. And so through the practice, you're preparing the vessel for the movement of this very healing, beautiful, creative, intelligent energy. You're preparing it. You can initiate yourself. You can do it yourself. And it's through the practice that things start to move and shift in as quickly as one practice. But what I said, it's not a one-shot deal. It's not something that you just do once. Just like with when you talk about the chakras, about the energy centers, you don't just balance them once. It's a daily observation, a daily perception, a daily sadhana, a daily getting in there. Just like you brush your teeth, you take a shower every day. Well, you go inside as well to shine, to connect with that inner wisdom, that inner knowingness. And it's a joyful thing. It's an empowering practice that we can all do each and every day. And I cannot recommend it enough. I'm so deeply, deeply grateful for this practice. It has really given me an understanding of who I am in ways that I didn't even know existed until I started the practice. And I remember when I did my first class, I was like, wow, what is that? I haven't felt that before. I couldn't explain it, but what I knew was it was so good for me. It was so empowering. It was so uplifting. It kind of made me feel like I didn't even know I could feel that good until I felt that good. And that's how it is when something is new. Stay open, stay curious, stay grateful, stay humble. Those are the keys to creating more opportunities to get into that limitless access of wisdom and intuition, that Kundalini energy, that Shakti energy. It's there in abundance for everybody to tap into. So again, just a gentle reminder, part of the human journey is we're going to break. Sometimes we're going to break. I don't like it, but it happens. Whether we break bones in our body, or our heart gets broken, or our bank account gets broken, things break. What do you do when something breaks? And there's just a beautiful philosophy I'd like to share with you very quickly. It's actually a Japanese philosophy called wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi. And don't confuse it with wasabi, the green stuff you put on your sushi. But wabi-sabi is a beautiful philosophy of embracing the beauty of imperfection. embracing the beauty of imperfection. So a beautiful example is you have a teacup. It falls, it breaks. Many people would throw it away. But in this philosophy, you pick it up, you look at it, and you put it back together. But you put it back together with gold leaf or with gold lacquer. So it becomes even more beautiful, more precious, more stunning, more interesting, exactly in those places that it broke. Because it's in those places that we break that more light, more wisdom can shine through. And it's exactly in those places where we break where we have an opportunity to redo, reorganize, reinvent, recreate ourselves in a beautiful, more exquisite manner through the breakage. So, hooray for imperfection, embrace the imperfection. It's a gift to learn how to do something differently, more beautifully, each and every time. So in the Kundalini Yoga practices, in your basic class, in every class, you're going to do what are called kriyas. And a kriya is a physical movement that would include moving the physical body. It would include mantra. Why do we chant mantra? Because it carries a high frequency. And again, those high frequencies permeate our body, our breath, our brain, our blood to elevate us. We would be doing pranayama, breathing techniques that very quickly center our nervous system, that allow our heart to unwind and to relax so we can breathe deeply into our belly. We would also do a beautiful mantra meditation at the end of class to keep elevating, to keep lifting the frequency of our energy. I think it's always beautiful to bring in beautiful intentions for your practice, to stay in a state of gratitude and humility for it all. So you would do these beautiful, beautiful kriyas, and they're there to elevate, to remind you, to allow you to become ever the better version of yourself. And it's an ongoing process. It's a never-ending process. And it's a beautiful process. And I think it's one of the most worthwhile, meaningful things that we can do with our lives. And I would encourage you that whenever you learn something that uplifts you, that makes you feel like a better human being, share it. I feel like if we're lucky enough to learn something, to be gifted with something that uplifts, that reminds us of that divine spark that we all carry inside of ourselves, each and every one of us, share it. It's a responsibility. It's a beautiful responsibility to share it. And so I just invite you to try some of these practices. I teach a class called Kundalini Beats. I teach a class called Shake Your Shakti and Kundalini Yoga. It's all the same thing. It's all the essence of your humanity. Our humanity is, our essence is a creative nature. And so when we're tapping into our creativity, we feel more content, we feel more satisfied, we feel more nourished because it's our nature to be creative. Do we get stuck sometimes? Yeah, it's part of the human experience to get stuck. So don't beat yourself up if you get stuck. Again, it's just an opportunity to learn techniques, learn tools, have practices that allow you to get unstuck so you can get back to going with the flow. Go with the flow. So, for example, a couple things you could do very, very easily in a Kundalini Yoga Shakti kind of practice is we're going to focus on the spine. We're going to do different movements in the spine because as you start to move up the spine, you're also bringing energy and awareness into each one of the energy centers. Each one of the energy centers, each one of the chakras, those beautiful vortexes that connect both to our energetic existence and to the glandular system, to these incredible nexuses of energy and nerves that all come together in the body. And as you travel up the spine, you're also tapping into each one of the gifts, each one of the talents that the chakras present to us. So when your chakras are balanced, you're going to feel more connected, creative, empowered. You're going to feel unconditional love. You're going to speak your truth with loving kindness. You're going to feel intuitive. You're going to feel that sense of oneness, of interconnectedness, because energetically everything is connected, and you're going to have a radiant aura, a radiant eighth chakra around you, which makes you quite charismatic, perhaps even irresistible, but you're going to feel radiant. You're going to feel so alive. And so when you start to move the energy through the chakras, those gifts appear as well. But again, it isn't a one-shot deal. Just to go back to remind you about the value of having a daily practice, a daily sadhana. Even for 5-10 minutes, it all makes a difference. So I invite you to come and join me or join anybody that is teaching these kinds of practices. You can do it all. Do practices that are focusing on the hatha practices. Do practices that help you ignite and connect with that inner beautiful energy inside of your body. We don't have to pick and choose. We live in a very abundant time where we can experience it all, and they all serve us, they all uplift us, they all nourish us. So I hope to see you in one of my classes soon. And remember, Kundalini, Shakti is an energy that you're born with, each and every one of us. It's sitting at the base of our spine, and through intentional movement and sound and breathwork, pranayam, and meditations, honestly, you can easily access it each and every time you do the practice. So I hope to see you in one of my classes soon, and Sat Nam.